math skill for today. We're going to continue looking at different quadrilaterals. Those are shapes that have 4 sides. Now, you can compare these by using the angles, parallel lines, and the side lengths. Now, what are different ways you can draw the quadrilaterals shown below? Quadrilaterals have 4 sides. They also have differences. So you can classify them into smaller groups. So although all of these are quadrilaterals, you can break them into smaller groups. So shapes that have parallel lines, 2 pairs of parallel lines, are called parallelograms. Now I want you to shade in all of these parallelograms in blue in our top section. So this is a parallelogram. D is a parallelogram. G is a parallelogram. F is a parallelogram. And E is a parallelogram. So the biggest group is quadrilaterals that have 4 sides. So all of these shapes have 4 sides, but only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are parallelograms. Now let's get even deeper. I want you to grab the green writing tool. And we're going to outline the shapes that are rectangles. That means that they have 4 right angles that you could put a square in. So D is a rectangle, G is a rectangle, and E is a rectangle. They all have a right angle. That's one way you can remember that a rectangle has right angles. Rectangle, right angle. The next category is rhombuses. Rhombuses, grab a red. Rhombuses all have equal sides. We're going to put a star on the rhombuses. D is a rectangle. You can see it's a rectangle and a parallelogram and a rhombus. B is also a rectangle, parallelogram, and rhombus. Oops, sorry, it's not a rectangle. It is a parallelogram and a rhombus. And finally, just D is just a square. 4 right angles and 4 equal sides. Move on to the next page. Use structure. What shape on the previous page is a rhombus but not a rectangle? Well, let's look back. A rhombus has a star. So let's look at these 2 options. They both have a star, but it's not a rectangle. It's not outlined in green. Well, that is shape B. I'll let it load. Shape B.
Teachers, please turn this direction. We will be having PE outside in the normal spot. Okay. Have fun outside.
Number 2, can you have a square trapezoid? Is there such thing as a square trapezoid? Well, a trapezoid only has 2 pairs of parallel lines, and it does not have right angles. So the answer is no. It does not have right angles. And it only has 1 pair of parallel lines. Number 3, which shapes on the previous page are not a parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, or square? So which ones were not highlighted, under, or outlined, or starred? There's a couple of them: A, C, I, and H. Those are all quadrilaterals. They have 4 sides, but they are not a parallelogram, rectangle, or rhombus or square. A, C, I, H. What attributes, when you see this word attributes, I want you to think of characteristics. And you'll think of parallel lines, right angles, or equal sides. What attributes does a square have? Because it is always a rectangle. Well, let's look back. And that means it has, if it's a rectangle, it has 4 right angles. That's one of the attributes. We'll just make a bulleted list here. It has 4 right angles. It also has, think of a square in all the sides, 4 equal sides. The last thing that it has is 2 pairs of parallel lines. Now down for our independent practice. We're going to use those attributes that differentiate how they're different quadrilaterals. We'll do a couple of them together and the rest you'll do on your own. You will be doing number 5 through 9. So list all the polygons shown at the right that fit the description. If there could be no such polygon, tell why. Number 5. Has at least one set of parallel lines. Those are lines that never ever cross. So how many shapes have parallel lines like that? Well, we have A, E also has one set of parallel lines. B does, these two are parallel. D, F, and G. All of those have at least one pair of parallel lines. Uh-oh, but it's not a parallelogram. Parallelograms have 2 pairs of parallel lines. So that means D is not, F is not, and G is not. Oh, and A. Lots of them will have to cross up. A, G, F, and D. You can see that we're left with just the trapezoids, B and E. Number 6 is a quadrilateral, has 4 sides, but not a parallelogram or a trapezoid. So these are all parallelograms. And we just found out that these are trapezoids. So C is the only shape that is neither. It has no pairs of parallel lines. A square and not a parallelogram. Is there such thing? There is no such polygon, because a square has to have parallel lines. You can pause if you need more time to write those out. Now number 8 and 9 you will do on your own. Is a rhombus and not a rectangle, or is a parallelogram and not a rhombus. Remember, if it cannot be true, tell why. Once you're finished with this page, there are 3 highlighted options on page number 9. Complete the highlighted and we'll review the rest in our afternoon meeting.